Oh, man. Welcome back to the gray space. And we got another good one for you guys today.
Yes, sir. Make sure you subscribe to become part of the tribe. Don't swipe, hit that like and comment if you're rocking with the content. Now, we got a special guest in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And as we always say, he's the most recent.
So he's the most special.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a radio personality, a guy who's probably made more careers than many people in Arizona and radio can say. You guys know many of his shows. Fell in love with them years ago. Stayed rocking with them. That was a little bar with rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? He's also a DJ, music personality, and a music instructor. And we're gonna get into all that. We got the legendary Mattlocks in the building. Mattlocks, what's up?
What's up, man?
What's going on? I mean, I first of all, I appreciate the fine ice.
Okay.
In the apple.
Okay, the apple juice.
It's iced down. I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem.
You have to have like cold
Yeah.
juice. So
Yeah.
So I appreciate the ice
You
quantity in
You
that thing.
got it. You got it.
That's
You got
good.
it.
That's good.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming through.
For sure, man.
Making that trip to SoCal, Arizona.
Yeah, right. Right.
Let's get into it, man. Let's get into kind of how you got into music, and then eventually into radio. Let's go back to the early stages, early Mattlocks. How did you get into this game?
Born and raised in San Diego, California.
Nice.
My uncle, his name is Gene Harris.
Mm-hmm.
He was a long time and has been a long time radio broadcaster.
Mm-hmm.
So, my family has always been very mad musical. My uncles played drums.
Okay.
My one of my uncles played bass. Another uncle played drums. My grandfather and my grandmother were dancers. They did like the Lindy Hop and all those dances of the day. And they were born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri, and they were out in the town.
Okay.
They were out in the town and hanging with the big bands of the day.
Nice.
And getting out and doing those amazing dances of the 40s and 50s. So that my house, and then on my mom's side, she was always very musical too. She played the piano.
Okay.
So music was just always around my household.
So did you ever pick up any musical instruments while back?
So trumpet, clarinet,
Nice.
flute, alto sax, tenor sax. And the drums a little bit. I always wanted to do the drums more, but the drums a little bit, and then I threw all that to the side for turntables.
Okay.
All right.
I should have stuck with the saxophone.
I was gonna ask you.
I love the sax. And a part of me is wanting to get another instrument, and I think I've honed in on the bass. I want to pick up the bass and actually pick up an instrument. I think Adrian Young was the one that issued the challenge about, challenging people to pick up an instrument they've never really played before and like learning it. Like there's, we are pretty blessed now that technology allows us to like go on a computer and type in YouTube and learn how to play.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's all kinds of instructional videos and stuff like that.
So I definitely want to pick up an instrument, but yeah, the turntables were like the love. And I think around age 11, my uncle, who was a DJ, and DJ'd at San Diego State, and he had turntables, and that's when I was like, oh man, this is it.
Okay.
This is what I want to do. I want to DJ. I want to play records, and like, he was teaching me, the simple wikis and the first record I heard, Rapper's Delight. That was it for me. That was it. That was it. And hip hop was the love of my life.
That's dope.
Right there.
That's dope.
Yeah. So, but yeah, family has always been mad musical. I've always been around it. My dad was Stevie Wonder and the Temptations, and my love of stand-up comedy came from my grandfather. My grandfather was playing Red Fox records and very potty mouth shit.
Right.
Like while I was like between like 4 and 7 years old, I was hearing a lot of shit that I was not supposed to be hearing.
Right.
From my and mixing drinks and like giving my grandfather a cigar and his pipe and like so my love of stand-up came from my grandfather, but the music in general was like I had two sides really. Like my dad's side was like the soul and the funk of the time. My mom was the R&B and the jazz.
Okay. Yes.
My mom was a jazz person. She liked the jazz. She liked Miles. She liked Ellington. She liked Mingus. She liked all that. But
did that transfer to you?
Yeah, she introduced me. She hit me to Hiroshima and Basha. She was not only about the Renaissance pieces of jazz, those transformative bebop times of jazz, but she was like into the AC jazz and the Kenny G's of the world as well. So I kind of got like a kind of well-rounded kind of spectrum of that urban side of music, and then it was hip hop after that.
So as you were transitioning and kind of getting into the game, when was it that you kind of realized, well, this might be a real thing that I can actually get into the industry and really be a part? When was that transitional period?
So
that aha moment, so to speak.
I had just come back from Tuskegee University.
Okay.
And so this was 1993.
Okay.
Up until this point, I never really thought about being in radio. I went through high school and, of course, in my hip hop backpacker bag and stuff like that. And during this time, like I could have been in radio. My uncle at this point, and I don't think it's ever been done since, on 92.5, which was Star 925 in San Diego, which was the only urban radio station in San Diego.
Right.
My uncle was a program director. He had a program on Saturdays called SOS Jams, which is Student on Saturday Jams.
Dope.
So the students who were interested in radio and wanting to know how radio works and be a show, from Saturday mornings from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., they had to produce a full show.
Oh, that's dope.
On the air.
That's dope.
And be live.
Yeah.
And I never really took advantage of that at all.
That's crazy.
Even though he extended the invite and he was like, yeah, you can come on and be part of the crew. But I never did that really. But when I came back home from Tuskegee, then I was like, yeah, I think I really want to, try the radio thing. And I was working at an allergy and asthma clinic. And I was like a research assistant. And account executive by the name of Lisa D'Angelo. She walked in the building. Of course, their job is to find clients for advertising. So she was representing a radio station called Q106.
Okay.
And they knew that I was musical and liked radio and stuff like that. So the doctor that was going to talk to her was like, hey, I'm making some rounds. Can you, go and talk to her and, bide some time until I could get to her.
Okay.
So I talked to her and she was super cool. Asked her about internships or how could I apply at the radio station. And she was like, I could do one better. I'll bring back an application because literally our radio station is like 5 minutes away from here.
Dope.
So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So literally she talked to the doctors. I think they got on as clients. She came back with the application, filled it out, took it back there. And then I became an intern.
Dope.
And I interned for about almost 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Almost 3 years. Because back then the intern laws and internship kind of protocol was not a thing. Like you could intern for as long as you really wanted because it was, the experience. It was like free. It was like free
Right.
pay. So yeah, I earned my stripes interning for Q106, and they were the, at that time in San Diego, they were the, number one, top 40 music station in San Diego, pop music. Yeah. But back then in 93, 94, back then, there was really no such thing as pop radio stations. It was top 40.
Right.
So literally the songs that were in the top 40, there was no genre specification. So you're going from Criss Cross into Shania Twain into New Kids on the Block, right?
Yeah. I love that though, man.
Because that's truly what top 40 was at that point in time. It was literally the top 40 records across the country.
Yeah.
So, we had great talent like Jeff and Jer, and man, I am missing like a whole bunch. Anita Rush, and man, I'll think of some more. We had, at that point in time, like it was amazing time to be working in radio at that point.
Radio was the thing, though.
That
was the thing.
Yeah.
Before the internet and all this, Spotify, Apple Music, and all that stuff, and how that has now become the new FM radio in a sense.
In a sense, yeah.
Like these playlists have on these big platforms have become technically like an FM radio in a sense.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. At that point in time, radio was the medium that people listened to music and then purchased records from. Because, in 93, 94, there's no Twitter, there's no MySpace, there's no Facebook, there's no DSPs, there's nothing. So literally it is what you hear on the radio influenced you to go to Tower Records, Warehouse, Sam Goody, FYE, Virgin, all the record stores that were around, and go buy records on Tuesdays.
I was gonna say,
Tuesdays,
back then it was Tuesdays.
Back then it was Tuesdays.
It was Tuesdays. Yep.
No rhyme or reason of that.
No, and that was really, it was like that forever too. It wasn't really until the change of the digital and really the streaming.
Yeah, that you can
things
really
started to drop on Fridays now.
Yeah, Thursday. It was like Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and then digital was like whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a fact.
Yeah. So I kind of just paid my dues internship wise, and then got on part time, and there that point in time I was like, okay, like. That was it. Okay. Like after getting on as an intern and like being around and driving the vans and doing all that stuff and being involved in it, that was the moment where I was like, I was meant to kind of do this, or I really wanted to do this, and I saw it as a continuation of me loving music, and now kind of working in a spot where we're playing music and it's cool and artists are coming through and stuff like that, like artists of the time, like New Kids on the Block and Sting.
Oh wow!
Got to meet Sting. I couldn't shake his hand, but what's up, Sting?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can't shake his hand. He was like, nah, you don't shake Sting's hand at all. You just say what's up to him.
Was he like a germaphobe or something? Was
yes.
that the deal? Okay,
absolutely.
I mean,
there's
people were legit. Are still legit.
They joke about it now. He jokes about it now, but he's a very big germaphobe. So they're like, you can't shake his hand.
Right.
You say hi to him.
Right. I mean, now people will do maybe like the fist bump if they are like a germaphobe.
Yeah, we talk about
okay.
and especially with in the Rona time.
Yeah.
You don't even do that.
No,
You're like, what's up?
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, that's way back. What's up,
Maybe the elbow or the forearm.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, like those early radio times, like you just get the bug. And people in radio, will tell you that it is literally like a bug. It's like you get bit, and then it's like,
Well, I remember,
That's
we had Rock on, and Rock kind of said the same thing, where he was like, I had no interest, you know what I mean? But then he was like, once we started doing it, and I think I can speak for probably both of us, is that, we never thought we'd even be in the podcast or interviewing game as well. And then it was like you get that first one down, you're like, all right, cool. I got to call somebody else to come through. So I totally understand.
It is the same type of adrenaline.
Yeah,
it's because it's like you're posting this up and who knows who's watching.
Right.
You just never know. You're putting it out on the universe and you're like, you just never know.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the same type of principle when you are 2 seconds away from hitting that button to go live. The emotions and the sheer fucking terror that you have is so worth it.
It is
absolutely fucking
absolutely.
worth it.
Yeah.
So you go from being an intern, now you're on part-time.
Yeah.
What were you doing when you were part-time?
Promotions, part-time events.
So you just hitting the streets?
Hitting the streets,
Okay.
Chargers, tailgates, Q106 big concerts, sticker patrols. Back then, bumper stickers were the thing. Like even
Huge
here,
thing.
even here, like but in late '90s, radio bumper sticker stops were the thing.
They were.
They were the thing. It was like, it is a freaking sticker, but we would have hour line waits
To
for
get that
our
sticker.
to get that
Yeah.
sticker.
Well, back then it was like a prideful thing. Like people
for
rode
sure.
around like, I'm listening to
It was
this.
like
I
gang
watch this
signs.
TV
It was like
was.
gangs. It was like gangs. It was like sets, straight up sets. Like, I'm getting
It
my
was.
sticker, fool. I'm repping.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
repping for power. Like,
Right.
give me my sticker.
Right.
I
That's
claim
a fact.
power. Power's my game.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Same thing in San Diego. It was like Q106, and then there was other competitors too. But we were killing everybody at that point in time. Like, especially event wise and promotion wise, and it was a lot of sticker stops, a lot of concerts. We did MTV Spring Break. Remember when MTV did the Spring Breaks from different cities? They did San Diego. That was massive. That was like, I was supposed to be at school. I took every day off, and we were in Mission Beach every day for all the MTV stuff.
And it's
Every
Mission
day,
Beach, too?
every day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like being around for those live tape shows, like stuff that MTV never does anymore because that business model just couldn't survive.
Right.
But just to be a part of that when it was in its heyday, that was fun.
And for the younger people who don't know, those concerts, those televised, I wouldn't even call them concerts.
No,
like this is before the Coachellas, you know what I'm saying, in the South by Southwest, and these things were televised. Now they're televised over YouTube or whatever. Yeah, but it was a big, like you felt
big
like
deal.
you were there when you were watching it.
It was a big
and you
deal.
were like, man, when I go to college, I'm pulling up on the MTV joint.
And that was a kind of a window to like, South Padre Island, like Lake Havasu, like Biggie's in Havasu, right? Like San Diego, like all these others. Like Miami, Miami is turning up like that. Like I have to go to Miami for spring break, right? Now, like that's not a thing,
right?
No,
but back in the day though,
is spring break even a thing today?
It still is.
I think it is. I just think I'm old now, so I just
I was just gonna go there, man. I was like,
I'm old now, so I don't know where the kids go and party.
I don't even know what spring when it falls anymore.
Yeah.
Is it March? Is it April?
As a teacher, I know when it is, but I just don't know where they go.
Right. I get you. And mine is too young to really be involved in that. So I guess I'll find out.
And you don't.
I got a couple more years. I'll find out.
You don't want to know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So spring break was a thing, and just being involved in cool promotions and cool events, it was so worth it. It came to a point where I was literally interning. I had 3 other jobs and was going to school. And then I was like, man, I want to do the radio thing. So I kind of ditched the other jobs. I was working at a movie theater. I was, working at a nonprofit. Was going to school and stuff like that. I was like, no, I want to do the radio thing.
Dope. So where did you see yourself? You're in this time you're working part time.
Yeah.
What was really the goal for you at that time? Were you trying to be a DJ? Did you want to be a host, or you just wanted to get in?
It's hilarious. Like I never really wanted to be the DJ.
Okay. Which is crazy because that was a big, being the mix
That was a
show
big
DJ
deal. Yeah.
was the thing.
being in the late 90s, being an on-air DJ, I mean, just like any company in the 90s, radio was making money at that point in time. And like the number one morning shows were clearing like $1 million, more than $1 million at that point in time. Like, you know, in San Diego, we had Dave Shelley and Chainsaw. We had Jeff and Jer. I know for a fact those shows in the late 90s were probably clearing over $1 million a year.
That's crazy.
You know, they were great at their job, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic at their job. But, you know, that point in time, you know, radio stations now or morning shows now, $1 million, that's a long way away. You're not making that now.
Unless you're...
unless
you're the big boys,
boys, except for
place,
I think Holmberg. Holmberg, I'm sure, is clearing mad checks and has been clearing mad checks for many moons.
Yeah.
But you know, in those days, being the on-air DJ and in having that talent, you're definitely getting checks, especially if you're doing morning drive or afternoons.
Right.
But I never wanted to be the DJ. I just didn't. At that point in time, I was like, well, I'm doing promotions, and in my mind, I saw DJs come and go, and I was like, well, marketing directors and promotions, and they kind of stick around if they know what they're doing. Yeah, so I was like, I will maybe. I mean, I'm already in promotions, so I might as well work up the ladder and kind of see where that goes, and be behind the scenes, because being behind the scenes is you know, and for the most part has always kind of been my thing. I always like to chill behind the scenes and kind of like do my thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it was like, all right, let's do the marketing thing, and I told my uncle, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna stick in the promotions and kind of, you know, at that point the road is you go, you know, intern, part-time promotions, then promotions coordinator, and then promotions director, and then if there's a marketing director, you got to be marketing director, and that was kind of overseeing everything.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, well, I mean, that sounds like a road, and I think I'm pretty good at it. I'm dedicated. At least I'm showing up. I'm showing up and being consistent about that.
Yep.
So let's just give that a try. So that was kind of my thought process. I wasn't even really thinking about DJing on air. I mean, at Q106, and you know, it was a cluster. So it was Q106, Rock 105.3, KGB at that point in time where I was at, and then, you know, it kind of evolved into more stations like 91X, and when Clear Channel bought us out and kind of consolidated us all together, it was Channel 933 and KGB and 91X, which is you know, heritage, like alternative rock station. Like they were, you know, the San Diego version of K-Rock. In that, you know, they were breaking bands just like K-Rock was, and then that alternative music space in the late 90s.
Dude, I really miss like because everything is so noisy, you know, there's so much stuff, right? There's so many outlets. There's, again, you know, we have all the internet stuff, right? But radio still does exist, and they still do certain things, and you know, I do miss them, like going, you know, that special time slot, right? Of Sunday nights, you know, everybody from the town, we're gonna have a 2-hour block, and everybody, you know, and the people calling in and being like, that was dope, that's fire, that's cool, you know, I love this, you know. And I really do miss that, because everything is so muddied and you know, hard to find, you know, good music, you know, sometimes. So
it's very corporatized right now.
Very much so.
And that's kind of, you know, the evolution of big corporations involved in radio stations, because in the early 90s, and even in San Diego, Q106 was owned by one person. It was called Par Broadcast. It was a singular owner of a radio station signal. And there was a ton of those type of radio stations all over the country. And those were stations that had, individuality or some type of, individualism that made them different from any other of the radio stations. When you had corporations consolidate and own multiple radio stations, you started to lose the individuality that made the stations that you love.
Right.
You missed the mom and pop.
Yeah,
stuff.
you missed the mom and pops, as I call them. We call those singular owned mom and pops.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when mom and pops are big, that's when radio kind of thrived, because you could find the niche or the groove or the lane of music that you liked, and people would cater to that.
Yeah.
And you had owners that were like, "This is the type of music I like. We're gonna play this." And so what? I own it.
Right.
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 When you get into the consolidation and ownership of multiple or hundreds or thousands of radio stations across the country, you can't do that.
No, especially because it's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at that point now it becomes a pay-to-play situation, right? Where the record labels are literally paying the radio stations to play certain music.
That would be called payola.
Okay.
And that is a no-no.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't really. I mean,
you
could, but you really can't.
Okay.
Because the risk of losing your license, which is from the FCC, which is from the government,
right?
The risk of losing your license is pretty much a death sentence for your radio station. So yes, has payola happened? Yeah, I think we're well aware. You can do your Googles about Elliot Spitzer and the crackdown that the record labels did for payola, but payola is a big no-no.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, oh, it never happened. No, it happens. And it probably still could happen in certain markets. But I think I would like to say, or I like to believe in your major markets that's not a thing. They're more creative about how they do that now.
Okay. Okay.
Way more creative.
Okay. So what do you think, besides obviously the individuality, what is the biggest change from having corporations buy multiple radio stations? What is the biggest change in the environment? Okay.
So your phone.
Yeah.
Your phone is the biggest change. You have choice now.
Okay.
You do not where the radio station was the choice in the 90s and into the 2000s. Just sit and think about what choice you have now.
Right.
And access to it on your phone.
Right.
So you have YouTube, you have all digital service providers, you have satellite, you have podcast, you have Audible, you have all of these choice. So radio's never going to die. And I think there's a lot of people that think that honestly think that radio's dying. Radio is evolving. It's never going to die because radio is free, and we are cheap motherfuckers.
Right, that's a fact.
We will not pay $3 for ad-free Pandora.
That's a fact.
Right.
$3.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
We're cheap motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So radio will always thrive. It just will be different in anybody's choices of when they would choose to use it.
Yeah.
Where it was in the 90s and 2000s, it was like, it's radio.
Right.
Now it's like, damn, if my phone is not working, or I don't have service anymore, I gotta turn on the radio.
Right.
I like listening to radio every once in a while, though.
Yeah.
I still do, because I find it interesting of what's actually being played.
Yeah.
And what people are, because again, cheap people, everybody's driving.
Everybody's driving.
And I know there's Bluetooth and stuff like that, and everybody listens to their whatever. But I think a lot of people still listen in their car when at least when you first turn it on. There's some radio station that's playing that you have, right? That you like, whatever it is, the hard rock, the hip hop channel, whatever it is.
There's lanes still.
Yeah. And I still find it interesting though, even going through some of the channel, like what are they playing?
Yeah.
And what I find really interesting is a lot of them still play a lot of old music. Nothing is really like brand new. There are the pop stations that play like the brand new, the Weeknd, the whatever, the Taylor Swift, whatever, playing. But most of the stations play a lot of older music, man.
It's interesting. There's been a couple of reports that talks about, of course, we are getting into the 88th or 89th percentile of streaming as the biggest source of music listening. Right. I think we're at 88.7% of all music consumed is streaming. What's funny about that is, of course, it's not funny, but hip hop is number one, of course, and has been for a very, very long time. Right. It is the most listened to genre in the world and has been for almost 10 years. Okay. But what's funny is that the amount of listening when it comes to recurrence, and recurrence are songs that are at least 10 years old. Okay. Is growing exponentially. More people are listening to older music than they are listening to newer music.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in that bulk of the 88%, a lot of growth is happening in the older recurrent album listening section than it is in the newer section right now.
That's fascinating.
That's absolutely interesting.
Absolutely
I think
fascinating.
There's a lot of different factors when it comes to that, though. You know, first thing I think about is, you know, digital sounding music, even though we live in a crazy, fantastic wonderland of this stuff, digital music still kind of sucks when it comes to the way it sounds.
Right.
It just straight up does.
There's no way around that.
Yeah. There's no way that
the wavelengths and
you know, actual vinyl sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal.
I don't know if we can ever get away from that, because we've even seen a resurgence in vinyl.
Absolutely.
Like you go into a Best Buy or a bookstore, whatever, there's they sell vinyl, and you're like, what is this? Because they don't sell CDs anymore.
No, I
you know,
while I do think that CDs as a medium is growing, but not nearly as the rate of vinyl. And vinyl has been growing for the last 11 years exponentially. Right. I think we're now in the 32% range of vinyl sales now. Wow. So it's been a slow rise. Yeah. I think at one point about 10 years ago it was only about 11%.
Okay.
So I think you know, the rise of that is kids are finding this old stuff. They're finding the recurrence, and they're like, this is awesome.
This is dope.
First of all, this is awesome. Hold on, I can get it on vinyl. And you know, I come from, you know, I have, you know, 68 or 69 crates of vinyl. I know this because I had to move. And as a DJ, and all DJs will know this, that the worst thing that could ever happen in life is the one word: moving. So 69 crates of vinyl is I'm in the upper tier of like the vinyl consumption category. Most of the kids today are looking to buy the cool shit. They don't want 69 crates of vinyl.
Right.
They want like one or two good shelves of all the good shit.
Yeah.
And they're okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that
as
great. Well.
Like, buy the fuck out of
really
vinyl.
Cool.
Yeah, buy the fuck out of vinyl. Great.
Yeah. For sure.
You know, and I think the other thing that is helping the resurgence of classic or you know, albums that are kind of recurrence is movie placements.
Yeah, that makes
you know,
sense.
we've all seen Spider-Man: No Way From Home.
No, not yet.
Oh man. Okay, well, we won't talk about that.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
You know,
good movie.
Marvel movies do a great job of placing some really good
Guardians
shit.
of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorite, right?
That soundtrack is
the soundtrack is fire.
Yeah,
kids are being exposed to that shit for the first time in their lives, and that is
very true.
In the
very
fuck,
true.
What in the fuck is this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, we like this shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then they go on their little phone and type up Spotify. Great.
Which is, I think it's kind of crazy that, you know, that we're even having that conversation, because I feel like all of us came up in basically growing up, we listened to what our parents listened to, and then our parents were still listening to what their parents listened to. So we always got at least 2 generations of music
before
we even received the new stuff. And then our parents were still listening to the new stuff as well. So now like these kids, they're like, I don't want to hear that stuff you listen to. Now my daughter, she's all into it. There's a video, you know how the kids are wearing the graphic tees with all the old artists? They were like, name a song. So I did that on my daughter, and she was like got them all. And I was like,
proud.
I'm so proud of you.
Proud dad moment.
Oh man, big
shine
time.
On.
Yeah, there was one that a girl had a Purple Rain shirt on, and she goes, name an album from him.
Oh God.
And it literally says Purple Rain on the shirt. I was like, yo. Anyway, I digress.
Those videos either do one of two things: stress me out or make me proud. I don't even have kids, but like if they can get it right, I'm like, oh man, you are so dope. Like my godson, his dad just sent me a video, and he was home from school, but he was listening to Doggy Style.
Fire.
Fuck.
Classic too.
Yeah, he's 13.
That's fire.
That is so fucking.
How did you stumble upon that? Do you know?
He listens to I don't know. I have to ask him actually, but he listens to a lot of Eminem. But Snoop is in his wheelhouse. He was fucking listening to the Doggy Style. The Doggy Style album fucking made me proud.
I would be proud as well.
Yeah, I was like, as a proud uncle moment, proud dad moment. We're just sitting here, she's like, because that was,
that's classic.
Doggy Style was like, that was a period of time.
It was a game changer
where you just. I was standing in line at Tower Records. I stood in line.
Well, it's so weird to think about. That's a classic record, though.
Yeah,
that's a classic. Like
it is a timeless.
My brain goes. Wait, that was just a couple. Wait, no. Wait a second. No. That's 20 years ago.
30. 30. Yeah.
Bro. 30.
Yeah. Man, I feel old as fuck. Yeah. Old as fuck.
I'm the youngest one in the room, probably. And I feel old.
Yeah, I'm old. But I just think the movie placements have done a good, an awesome thing, and I don't want to bash digital service providers. I think that DSPs have made it very, very easy for kids to find the music now. That's where we had to really like go to the store and dig, find the album. Wait, if the motherfucker was sold out, guess what? We had to wait a week, 2 weeks.
But I think that the other side of that too is going to the hearing something on like the top 40 or whatever. You man, that song, I love that song. I can't wait till that album drops, and you get the album and it's the worst piece of crap you've ever heard, and you're like, why? You waited all this time.
That's the only good song on the album.
At least now you could like preview something if you wanted to buy. Like, say you're into vinyl. At least now you can be like, okay, I previewed it.
Yeah,
I like 2 or 3 songs.
I listen to this hot
I'll
garbage.
put it on a playlist for a trip or something.
Yeah, I'm the songs. I'm gonna pick the songs I like off the album.
Exactly.
And then, but in the '90s, we didn't have that shit. No. It was like we heard the single and it was like, oh, this is gonna be a fire album. And then the fire album was trash, but we still bought the CD.
Oh yeah,
you're stuck with it,
and it stayed in the collection.
And it stayed in the collection. We have I call it the garbage to gold ratio. The garbage to gold ratio.
I like this. Okay.
All of us have the garbage to gold ratio. We have the ones that we love and we're like never ever getting rid of, and then we have them like, why the fuck did I buy this?
Yes, that's a fact.
I bought this because of the single, and the rest of the album is trash. And that's just how it was in the CD era, and even in the cassette eras. It was like, yo, that Special Ed album is coming. I got it made, was fucking fire. I'm buying that cassette tape.
And
you're just buying it off the fucking strength. I saw it on Yo MTV Raps. I saw it on In the Basement Rap City. Fucking buying that shit.
That's a fact.
And we're kind of, I'm kind of lucky. Like, I'm old, and in the golden era, it was pretty whack tapes and whack complete albums were not that. They were few and far between.
They were.
That is true.
Sure.
Yeah,
that is true.
They're few and far between.
For sure.
You would find at least 3 or 4 or 5 on an album. At least half the album was fire. Sure. If there was ones that with the whole album, like the Brand Nubian, All From One. Oh man, I fucking bump the shit out of that fucking goddamn. I had that in rotation, heavy as fuck. Brand new, the first album. But like, you know, those are just albums that, you know, you have your ones that definitely are you're rocking all the time, and you have ones like, all right, I got this song, I like this song. All right, cool. That's a fact. There's just no way around it. I think now with our phones, we have the capability to find anything you want. And then TV and fucking places make it easy. They put up the QR code in the fucking screen.
Yeah,
just
for sure. You just
go right to it, right?
Yeah, right
for
there.
sure.
So
right there.
I, you know, I'm not completely bashing digital service providers. I mean, they do suck. Don't get me wrong, because as artists, you get paid shit for it.
Yes.
But the one thing that is cool is the discovery of music is quicker and faster than we've ever had before.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
That's true.
I do want to ask you, since we're kind of here, and I ask this quite a bit because I actually find everybody's answer very fascinating, because I research a lot of music. I'm I feel like a kid a lot because I love trying to find new stuff.
Love it.
And, you know, and it's hard to find. You know, it really is. You got to really dig through a lot of crap.
Yep.
A lot of crap. And it's just the day and age we live in, because it's so easy to throw it up on whatever. Boom, there it is.
For sure.
Okay. But where do you see specifically hip hop today? Do you like where hip hop is at today?
I'm never a hater, because at a certain point there are more people expressing their art than ever. Is it all shit that I like? Nope. Is it all meant for me anyway? No.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think as a hip hop head, I have to be realistic, and most of us are not. In that I'm getting older, and Baby Keem is not for me.
Right.
Gunna, not for me.
Right.
Do I listen to it? I try. Yeah, I put it on. I've always been the one to listen. I'm gonna listen to your project.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's goddamn it, there's gonna be at least one I'm gonna rock with.
For sure.
There's gotta be at least one.
Right.
For sure.
Right. And some of them I try. I get through. I just tweeted this yesterday. I listened to 4 songs on Gunna's album. I tried. That's about as far as I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
I try.
Sometimes
it just. But you know what? I'm not gonna hate on that man. He has an audience.
Right. For sure.
They're younger.
For sure.
They're definitely not for me.
Right.
Right. I listened to Corday's album. Fucking love it.
Oh.
Resonates with me.
Oh.
We can't really speak on it because we're going to do a review on it.
Right.
But yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yes.
yeah. So I mean, there are some young cats with old souls out here.
Yeah. For sure.
And that's okay too. I'm just not a big hater on it sucks. This sucks right now, because there's more people expressing themselves and expressing their art that if they didn't have that lane, never know what the fuck they would be doing.
That's a fact. And the other thing too, I think that hip hop in general has always had different styles.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Like once it got to a certain point, there's always been the party hip hop, the West Coast gangster hip hop, the New York.
Yeah.
Then some things changed into the West Coast lyrical.
Yep.
Now and then you had New York gangster hip hop.
Then the down south scorched the earth.
Right. Yeah.
Scorched the earth.
Right.
And
right.
changed
the
it all.
Stuff,
and then you had the hyphy in the Bay.
Yeah.
And so there's always been expressions of people's versions of hip hop.
Right.
Even in the 80s.
Right.
So I can't really hate on the state of it, because I will always gravitate to the artist I like.
Right.
And that's just kind of where I leave it. I'm not the one that beats the drum of hip hop is in a fucked up place. Nah.
Yeah.
Because music is going to come out regardless if we like it or not.
For sure. 100%.
The machine is going to do its work.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, but here's what I don't like is motherfuckers will be hating and they don't even give the projects a chance or listen to it.
For sure.
Don't listen to it.
Right.
Like, don't be one of those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, listen, like, at least give it a try.
Give it a try. That's true.
Those people, those are the motherfuckers that frustrate me.
Yeah.
It's like, they talk shit about artists, but they've never heard any record. Not a said one record.
Right. Or they heard one song.
Yeah, they heard one song. Yeah,
I hate them.
Yeah,
They're terrible.
you know who I fuck with? I like Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow's fucking dope.
Yeah, he's pretty dope.
I like Jack's album.
For sure.
It's very, very done, very complete album. I dig it. I saw him at the press room, not at the press room, but at the Van Buren. It's sold out. He's fucking dope.
Okay.
He's one of the artists that, like, yeah, I get it. He understands it. You got to have dope beats. You have good flow, good rhyme. If you make good records, people will listen to them.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So like, I just never bang that drum of like, oh, hip hop sucks. Like, because there's more people. Like I said, hip hop has been the #1 streaming genre for almost 10 years now. So it's not going away.
No.
And I'm not talking about #1 just by a little bit. I'm talking about #1 like 15 to 18 percentage points higher than any other genre across the board.
Wow. I'll just speak right now. Rock is terrible right now, man. I'll straight up. It's and
it goes through lulls.
Yeah, I
don't know.
But the problem with it is the digital part of it.
Yeah,
and when you're talking about real instruments being played, right? And I've said this time and time again, the quantizing that they do in these computers, where they put not just drum tracks, because drum tracks sound okay in quantizing when you're doing that.
Yeah.
But when you put a guitar into that and you do the same thing, I just it really hurts my soul, man, because like
it grinds your gears.
Love a good guitar sound,
right?
And that could be anything, but like especially in rock, like I don't know what they're trying to do with that, and that is not. It's sitting well with me right now.
There's a large group of rockers that they're fucking frustrated right now.
Yeah.
And I can see that. Like, it's just it's hard. The digital playing field is so level now. It's more level than it's ever been.
Right.
The gatekeepers of the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s are no longer there.
They're not there.
So yeah, you got to dig.
Yeah, you have to dig. And honestly, that's the worst part about it.
Right.
To be straight up.
Yeah, like, you're not a fan of the digging?
Well, not necessarily the digging. Without going down too big of a rabbit hole, is really the genre of stuff. Is really gets me going, because it's like because everything is genre related, right? And specifically, we'll be doing a review on The Weeknd, right? We gave The Weeknd a shot. We're like, okay, it's not something him or I really listen to, but we listen to it, right?
Right.
That's R&B. That's listened under R&B.
That's
not
fucking
R&B to me.
That is fucking pop as fuck.
Yes, that album.
But it straight up is labeled R&B. And
yes,
so
it is.
That's what's frustrating to me about stuff.
The album category placement.
Yes.
The categorization placement of that album. Yeah, absolutely, it's pop as fuck.
But everybody does it. So you go into the alternative section and you straight up get R&B stuff in there. And you're like, why is this in here?
Yeah.
This is cool shit.
Right.
But why is it in the alternative? I had to go to the alternative section to find this.
Yeah.
This should be in the R&B section.
Right.
Yeah.
But so that's the thing that's hard for me.
That is old consumerism.
Yeah.
I think that, and I wish it could go away, but I don't think it's going to.
No, it's not going away.
Because then, where am I going to find Slipknot at? I know they're rock.
Yeah.
But like, if there's no album categorization now, like Five Finger Death Punch, where the fuck am I looking for that?
Yeah.
Other than if I can't remember the name, then where the fuck am I looking for them at?
Right.
So,
but don't stick that in alternative though.
No. Yeah,
because
don't.
Sometimes they will.
Right.
And you're like, this is hard rock,
don't,
man. What are we doing here?
Don't do alt rap rock category shit.
Right.
Like,
see, and that's the stuff I don't like.
Right.
Is the sub.
Gotcha. The subgenre shit. Yeah.
I get, some, okay, this is kind of sounds like this. Okay, so we'll put it in here. I do like, though, when I do go mining for stuff, where I'll see multiple albums in multiple categories.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's cool because I get it. When you start listening to it, you're like, oh, I could see this being in indie pop or in a little bit of the rock or the alternative, even a little bit in the R&B. Okay, it's in those sections.
Right,
okay.
List them all instead of listing them in one.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So speaking of genres,
yeah,
you do a mix show on Record Bar Radio.
Yeah.
That I checked out. You've got
dope.
3 episodes so far, right?
Yeah.
And it's a monthly show.
Yeah, they're letting me do shows monthly there, which still baffles me. But yeah, I'm thankful for it.
So I noticed kind of your mix style is correct me if I'm wrong, house music blended with a little bit of hip hop. But it's very house music heavy.
Oh yeah.
On the mix. And I kind of want to go back to that because back in the days the story about Dr. Dre was he was a house music DJ before he ended up getting into gangster rap, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like if you came up in that era, DJ Big Surge does a lot of house music in his mixes, right? I feel like that's the thing if you come up in that era. So talk to me about why you do the house music,
all right,
and how you got into it.
Yeah,
and talk to us about the show that you have on
Record Bar Radio.
Euphonious?
Yeah, it's called Euphonious.
Yes.
Yeah. In San Diego, San Diego was a big house city.
Okay. In
the 90s, I remember going. There is an event called I think it was called the Playhouse, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
If somebody's from San Diego and they grew up in the rave scene in the 90s, comment below if I'm correct. I believe it was called the Playhouse.
Okay.
And it was at the San Diego Sports Arena. I think they did it once or twice a year. It started at like 7 p.m. and went till 6 a.m.
Oh wow.
But in that they went, so imagine like Footprint Center, right? So imagine Footprint Center, and the main floor where you would see the Suns play would be the main concert area where the A headliners would be.
Okay.
And I think the couple years I went, I remember Delight, because Groove in the Heart was massive at that time. They were one of the headliners. Armin Van Helden, I think, was one of the headliners there. So the A listers are on the main stage.
Okay.
And then in the bowels of the foyer and around where there's room, there would be other genres of DJs there. So you'd have jungle, you'd have deep house, you would have hip hop, you have an underground room, you would have any of the soulful house, you would have any of the other genres of ambient, trance, all of that would be there as well.
Okay.
So you were getting, if the Far Side was playing there and you're a hip hop kid, I'm going to go see the Far Side, right? And I learned how to DJing house.
Okay.
So that's where the love came from.
Okay.
Because my friend was like, if you can DJ, if you can clean mix house, you can do anything.
Okay.
You can mix anything.
Okay.
So I learned doing house, and then going to the raves and the house shows and seeing DJs play. Like, yeah, house has always been. I've always been a soulful house guy. Like, the electronica house is cool. I dig some of it, but there's nothing that is doper than dope beats and like soulful ass singing over those beats. Just what was coined as Chicago house. That's always been my love, as well as hip hop and all of that. So
it definitely shows throughout the mix. Yeah, the show. So,
I appreciate that,
sure.
man. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, the house music has always been there, been a part. I just think that most cats see me as the host of an underground hip hop show. That I'm a Sun Dunner and backpacker and keeping it real. But there's so much more musical depth to everything that I listen to. It's not just one thing and one thing only for me. Yeah. So like Record Bar Radio was shouts out to my God Complex for hitting me and telling me to send my application over there to be a part of Record Bar Radio, because they gave me a shot, and then they were like, we're gonna bring you back and you're gonna do a monthly show, and I was like, yo, that's dope. And for me, it's tough because you don't want to I can't play everything because YouTube still flags shit and will take shit down.
Right.
So musically they're which I understand it's copyright violations. Totally understand. I have to teach the shit, so I get it. But so you kind of have to navigate those waters with playing dope music, but not enough stuff that would get flagged and actually get them their page taken down. So I can't play everything, and I don't once it gets to like boiler room status and they are making revenue for YouTube, and they'll leave them the fuck alone.
Right.
But, Record Bar Radio is a dope venue. It's a dope platform of community-based musicians and DJs and selectors that, they're giving them a platform to play an hour a month. And it's a really dope collective. They're doing a really, really good job of, having local talent come in and kind of do their thing.
Yeah.
You have so many range.
And I was
you have so much
diverse.
Yeah, you have so much range of people that are playing, like, just from Gents to the Gila Man, like to all of these guys, Jules Quimby, like that's playing different shit. You can find like super eclectic, deep diving shit on Record Bar Radio, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Because you don't really get that anywhere, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you don't have really like that in like any other city where you have like, you can go on there and you see
and there's
like
a lot of content on there too.
A lot of content, a lot of DJs.
Yeah.
And everybody's playing different shit.
Yeah, I'll put the link up for that. But when you guys go check out the Euphonious mix show, make sure you everybody go through and check out the rest of their YouTube page, because as I watched your third one.
Yeah, I just did that yesterday.
And so I was like, well, let me go back and watch the other two. And I'm scrolling trying to find the second one. And I'm like, I know he just posted about this. I feel like it was a few weeks ago, right?
It was a month ago, right? It was a month ago, yeah.
And I'm like, I can't find it. I'm scrolling. I'm like, God damn, they got so much stuff up here. But that's dope.
Yeah,
so
a lot of
everybody
content.
go check this out. Euphonious
on Record Bar Radio.
On Record Bar Radio. Speaking of radio, let's go back.
Yeah.
Back in time. To Rhyme and Reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so let's talk about that show. How that came about. And at this point, you're in Arizona.
Yeah, I moved out here to start working at Power 92.3.
Right.
Mid-November of 2000.
Okay.
Why did you move from San Diego, one of the most beautiful places on the planet, to the desert?
Good story.
That's a fact.
My friend Monchai was the marketing director for the cluster, which was at that time K-Light, Power 92.3, and KTAR. Me and Manchai have been homies in San Diego. He worked for the other hip hop station that came up. It's called Z90.
Okay.
And I was working at Q106, so we were kind of competing, but we're not really. But we just became homies through being at mutual events and stuff like that. So, we kept in touch, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm moving to Arizona. I'm gonna work at this hip hop station called Power 92. I know you're a hip hop kid, and if something happens or there's the opportunity, I'm gonna call you." Dope.
Cool. Yeah.
2 years later, I get that call. He's like, "Matt, there's possibly going to be a promotions coordinator position opening up, but we got to do interviews and stuff like that. Just preliminary. You got to dot the I's and cross the T's."
Right.
Cool. Did 2 phone interviews for like hour and a half long, maybe 2 hours long. Like he was more professional about the shit because we were homies. So it was like, it was no homie shit at all.
He couldn't.
Like, no.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't either.
Right.
So, I had to do the 2 phone interviews through the phone. And then he flew me out here for, was it Davey DeMaio? I think it was Davey DeMaio at, was that Cricket Pavilion?
Yeah.
What was it before Cricket Pavilion? Desert Sky. Yeah, it was Desert Sky.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to fly you out. And you're going to meet everybody. You're going to meet the GM, Marv Nyron. And you're going to meet, Bruce St. James and Charlie Weddle. And interview with them.
Okay.
Cool. So I fly out on a Friday. They have a barbecue. I meet everybody. Had lunch with Charlie Weddle and Bruce St. James. And everybody was mad cool. And then he was like, yeah, you're going to work the David DeMaio event. I think Jay, Big Pun. I think it was that show. So Jay was there, Destiny's Child, Big Pun. It was massive.
Crazy.
It was a massive ass lineup. Yeah, like I was like, crazy. Oh, word?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Like, word. I'm going to be in there?
Yeah.
Word.
I'm in there. Right.
Most people would have just went to the show because I'm in there, right?
Right.
He purposely was like, Matt, go to the tent and hang out with the promotions people. All right, cool.
Okay.
So I went and hung out with the promotions people, Meg Nuts, Dion McBean, Eli at that time. And there's more. But then I was like, nah, this is a test. So, and then he went and did his thing. And like didn't really come back, right?
Okay, so definitely a test.
Yeah. So in my mind, I was like, oh, "Is this a test?"
It's like leaving the food in front of the dog.
But I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "Fuck!" Jay is here though, and I just seen the Hard Knock Life tour, and I was like, "Fuck, Jay is here!" Like I want to fucking see Jay. Like and Big Pun, I never seen fucking Pun here either.
Yeah.
Like fuck.
Yeah.
But I stayed. I stayed at the tent. Saw 0 of that show. Wow. 0. Hung up banners, hung out with the street team, but that was the turning point though, because even the street team folks thought I would probably just go see the show. They're like, "Oh, why are you not checking out the show? You're friends with Manchai, right?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm just here. I'm here interviewing. Like,
right.
Like, yo, you should go see the show." Like, nah, I'm gonna post up right here. I'm gonna be with y'all.
That's dope.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And then like I went back to San Diego, and then like 2 days later I got the call, and they're like, "We're gonna make you a formal offer, and we're gonna fax you over a offer letter." Fax you over.
Facts,
yeah, showing my age. Fax you over offer letter.
Facts, yeah.
And
facts on facts.
That's how I got the job, and I moved out here to Arizona.
And when was this?
This was like middle November. So this was like literally I think a week before Thanksgiving. In 2000.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm driving in the U-Haul, listening to Power, of course. Super Snake was on because Super Snake was in the afternoon, and they're playing Eminem Stan, and I was like, "Fuck, this is the right station."
Yeah.
This is the right station for me.
And so you how long were you there again?
I was at Power 2000 to 2008.
Okay.
It's the best 8 years of my life.
Really?
Yeah, the best 8. That wasn't even work, bro.
It
was an 8-year party.
Really?
Yeah.
I always wondered if it was like
being at Power. Listen, if Power 92.3, listen, Power 92.3 was still around and thriving, fucking still be working there.
Really?
That's how much fun we fucking had at that radio station.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you transition from that. And tell me if I'm wrong. The next move is now Rhyme and Reason. After that, right?
Yeah. I did Friday Night Flavors. So
Friday Night Flavors. Yep.
So
that's right.
Shout out to rest in peace, Big Willie, and Mikey on the mic, and then Karina, of course. I got to give props to the hip hop shows that laid the foundation of Friday Night Flavors before us. Like, Mikey on the mic, and then Karina. With her show, and then when I came in 2000, Fab 5 was on, so right. Chino, Little Sean, Squeak Boog, Robbie Rob, DJ Fashion, right? Me being the diehard hip hop kid that I was, I'd already been listening to shows, hip hop shows. Like I recorded the Baker Boys and Swain Tech.
Okay.
My Friday and my Saturday nights, in my college days was spent at my dad's house, who lived on the kind of fringe of San Diego. That I was able to get LA radio stations in pretty clear. So Friday nights at 11 o'clock, Baker Boys would be on, or at 10 o'clock, Baker Boys would be on. It'd be on 10 to 1. And then Saturday nights on the beat, Swain Tech would be on. And I would be recording those. I'd be recording those shows, staying up late, recording those shows. And then those were that was my digital service provider for the week. Because I still was rocking cassettes.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is 93, 94. So, like, I'm getting all my hip hop from the source, from the Baker Boys and the Wake Up Show. And then my best friend, Bias One, moved to New York in 95.
Okay.
And literally, we laugh, and we were like moving weight. I would send him like 10 or 15, 20 packs of cassettes to his place. He would record Stretch and Bob. He would record Pete Rock, Marley Marl. He would record the Awesome Two. He would record Bobby Condors. He would record all the New York radio shows of that time, and then send them back to me. My music network at that point in time was fucking tight.
Yeah, man.
My pipeline of music shit was my Walkman was on fire. I was not sharing none of that shit. Not sharing none of that shit. Wasn't telling nobody. Nobody. No. I still got those tapes too.
Nice.
Telling nobody. Right? Yeah.
That's dope.
Still got those tapes, but so my mom was the one who kind of made sense of it. She's like, babe, you've been listening to underground hip hop shows your whole life. You're ready for this. So I was like, so fast forward to 2000. I come in, work at the radio station. Little Sean was like, oh, we got another hip hop kid in here, because I had my 555 gear on, and like, all right, we got another hip hop kid. All right, what's up, black man? What's going on? Little Sean, loudest motherfucker that just loud and brash and ego at that point in time. What's up, black man? All right, we got another hip hop kid in here. Yeah. All right, I listen to hip hop. All right, dope. So I do my Monday through Friday. Flavors came on at like 9, I believe at 9. That's right. They came on at 9 p.m. So I would go home. I would leave the station at like 7:30, and then go home, get some food, and go home, and then turn the show on and play like PlayStation. I was listening. Didn't even step foot in. I just never really thought of like, oh, I'm employee there. I could just go up to the show and just sit in on the show.
Right.
Nah. And then Chino was like, I became friends with Chino, and that's my brother, and he was just like, why don't you come in on the show? Like, you fucking work here. Like, just pull up. Yeah. Just pull up on the show.
For sure.
And I was just like, yeah, okay. So I showed up, and then hung out, had fucking fun, just talked some shit, talked a lot of hip hop. And then just grew the rapport with everybody and being friends, and then just being around, and that evolved into me answering the telephone and answering the phones, getting requests, fucking with people on the request lines. Right. Fucking with people on the request lines. And then he was like, bitch, I know you DJ. You collect records too. Like, you DJ.
Right.
Like, it's like, hold on. Chino was like, hold the fuck up. You fucking DJ.
Yeah.
Like, you don't be telling nobody, but you fucking DJ.
Right.
Like, you got records, right? And I was like, yeah, I got records. He's like, fucking get a set together and bring your records up here. And I was just like, I don't know about that. Like, Fashion Robbie at that point, they're fucking ruling the city, man. Like, they're fucking intimidating as fuck. Especially I was like, there's no fucking way I was going to fucking get on the turntables. Like, Fashion would come in and do his first hour, murder it, and then fucking go do the clubs and kill all the clubs.
Yeah.
So I was just like, maybe I'll do that. So I did it one night. Fash couldn't do it, or Robbie was at the club and he couldn't come. So he was like, yeah, bring bring your stuff, and I played on the air, and I was fucking terrified.
Oh, I bet.
So fucking terrified, like, but I thugged through it, and it was fun. And then, you know, I just became part of the show.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's how I became part of the Friday Night Flavors crew. And kind of, she's like, my mom was like, you've manifested that the whole time.
Right.
You subconsciously manifested that because you were always listening to underground hip hop shows.
Always, yeah.
So, you know, Chino went to Kiss. Little Sean went to Kiss 104.7. You know, the opportunity came. Bruce was like, you know, I think that you could pick up the reins and do the show. And, you know, I was like, okay. And then I brought along, you know, Double A-Ron had been part of the show already. But, like, you know, I was like, you know, let's do a Double A-Ron. So it was me, Double A-Ron, Fashion, and Robbie, and Squeak, of course. You know, and you know, shouts out to Squeak. Squeak is he was the glue to the entire show. The show didn't work or wouldn't work as effectively if Squeak was not around. And that goes in just all the fashions, even with his Fab Five. Like, that man could clean up a song so fast. Like, literally, like, he cleaned up we were talking about, I forgot what song it was. It literally had one song before we started to play it.
Okay.
So literally, I think it was like 3.5 minutes. So we were playing one song. I was like, yeah, next up, we're going to be playing this new joint. And it was not clean.
Okay.
Mans went into the studio, cleaned the song, and got it to me before the song was over. And we played it. My man, Squeak is the sensei when it came to shit like that.
And for people that don't understand how hard that is.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you got to find it, catch it, cut it, find it, catch it, cut it. And depending on what kind of song it is.
Correct.
There might be a lot of finding and a lot of catching.
You know, as we would like to laugh, the word motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of motherfuckers in early 90s hip hop.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Facts.
A lot of motherfuckers.
So that man deserves an award.
Yeah,
for
man.
Sure.
Squeak was the glue of the show.
Dope.
Like,
That's dope.
when it came to just his musical knowledge, what he was listening to, what he could get his hands on, what he could get access to before anybody else. Like, shit like that. Squeak Boog was the man, and he still is. And you know, we're all a band of brothers.
That's dope.
Because of it, and lifelong friends because of hip hop. And those years at Power doing Friday Night Flavors, this was the fucking, like I said, just was rolled into the greatest 8 years of my work life.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And so how I got to Rhyme and Reason was I left to become the marketing director, promotions director of what was 1015 Jams.
Right.
What we now know as Live 115.
Right.
So I took the position as a marketing and promotions director there.
Okay.
And I told them, like, yo, I want a hip hop show too.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, down the road we'll go through that. And then you know, Dennis Martinez was our PD, and he came from the Bay, so he was aware of it. And then too, I also want to shout out Bruce St. James, because Bruce came from Power 106, and so and Bruce, you know, the Baker Boys and Big Boy, like, he understood what specialty shows and why specialty shows were dope for a radio station.
Right.
And a lot of PDs and still don't understand the enormity of how cool your radio stations sound to have a specialty show on your air.
Right.
So, you know, Dennis Martinez was like, yeah, we'll put a show on eventually. I think so. Rhyme and Reason aired March 9th, Big's birthday, 2009. Yeah, March 9th, 2009. And it was me, Element, Rock. Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. I knew I was gonna have a brain fart about.
It'll come to you.
Yeah, it will come, because we couldn't use. Oh yeah, Squeak was there. Yeah, Squeak was there too.
Okay.
Yeah, because he had come down from Power to start at Live too. So we had the initial crew, and it was that's how our kind of Rhyme and Reason started initially, and on what was then not Live 115, but
was
115
Ramses
Jams.
Was Ramses there?
Ramses was up at Power.
Okay.
And so Ramses and Bootleg Kev were around the station. Kev was interning. Kev started off as an intern, and then moved into doing morning show with the Nuts, and just kind of evolved into and morphed into the giant that he is today,
big time,
which is dope.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that came out of Power's internship group that are still on the radio, are still doing things across the country. That I think that was awesome. Like, Dion and Danny Whispers, cultivated that internship program, which I got to oversee, but they ran with it. But Tasha Castles, Augie, Dario, Kev, Felicia fell, that girl fell. A ton of people just that are still on the radio. JD, Lady Law, all came out of the internship programs at Power. That's dope. Jello, all came out of the internship programs at Power. So it is a testament to Dion and Danny Whispers for, not bothering me with, and I was like, if you guys are gonna do it, like, of course I have to oversee it and like make sure it's cool, but like I don't have time to like deal with the day-to-day of it. Right. So you guys do it. And they took it and ran with it. Did it as their own.
That's dope.
And it's just cool to see all of those all of those folks, like they're young kids, coming into the internship program, and now they're out doing their own thing and like making roads and lanes for themselves. So that's fucking awesome.
That's fire.
Yeah, it is so fire to. But yeah, that's how Rhyme and Reason got on 101.5, and we had a good run, and then moved it over to 101.1 when I got fired from 101.5.
Okay.
Ramses was instrumental in moving it and getting it on 101.1 The Beat.
Okay, so that's okay. That's when
that's how I got it onto The Beat. That was it was good times. We continued to thrive and add more DJs, like Fact and Psychopat and Les 735 and the Friday Night Flavors Rhyme and Reason tree, I equated like to the Roots. Like, people hop in and do different periods of time. Like my guy DJ Bonds, who produced the Elements documentary that you could see on Amazon and like Apple TV, which is about his times doing the club in LA. Called Elements. Like, he hopped in and he was living in Arizona. He was Mystic's DJ, and he came up with Mystic, and we just became homies. And he came up and started DJing on the show. He's part of the crew. So like, I equated to like the Roots. Like, people come and tag in for a short period of time while we were on, and DJ'd and did their thing, and then kind of went on to do other things. So it's cool to have, that kind of, be a part of that, because if it wasn't for Chino and Little Sean and Squeak and Fashion and Robbie, like, accepting me and bringing me into this, like, I don't know if I'd have a show right now. Yeah. Legit, like, have a show and then, for Bruce and Bruce St. James and those guys, they'd be like, nah, you got the show. You know what to do. You're professional about it. You can do the show.
Yeah.
That was like, fuck.
That's dope.
All right, cool.
That's huge.
You do the show.
That's huge.
And it's, I've met most of my hip hop heroes. I've interviewed most of my hip hop heroes. I've gotten to do and be parts of things that, not a lot of people would say they got to do. And I'm super thankful for for the original Fab Five crew for accepting me and bringing me in.
That's dope.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. So your favorite? You said you met a lot of people.
Yeah.
Either favorite.
I could tell you my worst.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna say.
I could tell you my worst.
I need a little good and bad.
Oh,
all right,
man,
cool. Let's start with the bad. All right.
I could tell you my worst.
Get right to it.
It's twice. The same person twice. Q-Tip.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't him. It was me. Cause Tribe Called Quest is. I was talking just like that.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got something else. I got something else for you. Too.
Fucking so bad.
Oh man.
So bad. That was it. I had what Rock had in his Nas.
And
okay,
so I want to hear your perspective on, because he told us the story, but tell me how this Nas thing went down. Because
was it as bad too? Was it?
It wasn't as bad as he says it was. I was just laughing my ass off. Because I knew he was just fucking stuck. So for me, it was just a lot of fucking laughing. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't as bad as he thought it was. But it was fucking funny because he was just like, I am sitting at you. If he had a teleprompter that went across, he's like, I'm fucking sitting across from Nas, just in repeat. That's what it would say.
Right.
If you had the bubble caption his thoughts. Holy shit, I am sitting across from fucking Nas. That was it the whole time.
Yeah.
So he just had that stuck look, and I could totally understand because I interviewed Q-Tip on the phone first, and it was fucking bad because I was just fanned out. Right. I was just like, you can't. I don't fucking. Y'all just. I love you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I just love you guys.
Right.
Like whatever the fuck you do, like I'm fucking rocking with you.
Yeah. Was that the elf? He's like, I'm here and I love you.
Yeah, and then and then it was another time on the phone. It was like I think I was at Power.
So this is on air?
No, this was not on air.
Oh,
it would have been totally worse if it was on. Oh God, I'm glad. No, this is pre-tape.
Oh, okay.
Pre-taped. And then another time, I think if I'm not mistaken, I want to say Jen Boogie, who worked record labels at that point in time. She called me and he was there with her, and then I talked to him again, and I was just like, verbal diarrhea. It was horrible.
Okay.
It was yeah. So Q-Tip was my fangirl moment. So we all have them.
Yes.
But I just, I think now if I was able to sit with him and I think I'd be able to, not a problem now, but I would still be fangirling on the inside for sure. Because Tribe was like Tribe Called Quest man, I can't say enough about Tribe Called Quest and how it shaped me musically.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, there's a lot of good ones. Like for the most part, everybody that I talked to was fucking cool. Like I really didn't have, Rock has some run-ins with some rappers that he probably wants to punch in the throat.
I believe it.
But for me, like, yeah. Oh man, I think if you get Squeak on, he'll tell you this story too about we did at the Cajun House. We did these Friday Night Flavors shows, like these one-off shows, and then we had the boot camp clique.
Okay.
You had the whole crew.
That's fire.
And they were fucking cool as shit. Like they were like backstage, Sean Price, Helter Skelter, like everybody was just like, yo, y'all part of the crew. You're down with us the whole time. You're hanging with us the whole day.
That's dope.
Nice.
Great.
Yep.
I am like, holy shit, like I'm chilling with the boot camp clique. Like Black Moon, like fuck, I cannot fucking believe like I'm hanging with all of the boot camp clique. And like even like in the pre-show prayer circle, they're like, nah, y'all fam, get the fuck in. We're doing like
that's dope.
Yeah. Cool, so that was cool. Another one that I think ranks up there at the top, is introducing Jurassic 5 when they did the Power and Numbers tour. They came to the Cajun House as well.
That's dope.
And I brought them on stage.
That's dope.
That was like, holy fuck.
Like being a kid.
That just fucking happened.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because, you know, everybody was cool. Everybody, we went and actually picked them up in station vehicles to bring them to the station so we could interview them.
Right.
So, yeah. So we had, I forgot, I think it was a Dion. One of the other promo kids drove the other van. So we had half of Jurassic 5 in one, half of Jurassic 5 in the other. And we're driving them to the station because we're picking them up from the hotel. And they knew that we were spinning the records. So, like, you know, they came up, they did the interviews. Everybody was fucking mad cool. And they were like, yo, just bring us on. Like, so I was at the show, get on stage, and like, oh my God, that shit was fucking.
That's fire.
That was fun. That was yeah, there's a lot of really, really good times, man. Like, I'm super blessed to have experiences with MCs that, you know, it's not just like, well, some of them was like, wow, I just got to hang with you, but others have evolved into like, I can text them and they can come speak to my class.
And that, yeah.
And like, you know, it still bugs me out. Like, I text you and you just, I'm good.
Sure.
Let's do this. Let's come talk to the class. Like, I hit up Crook, and Crooked Eye was like, Crook, can you come talk to the class about just, you know, being independent and talking? And he was like, fuck, say when. And I was like, okay. So like, yeah, I was, you know, just, you know, a lot of those relationships, like, you know, having Proof, yeah, that's the hard one. Yeah, because Proof, that was a big one.
Yeah. And
he was going to be a part of our show.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he literally was on our show the night before he took the plane to Detroit.
Damn.
And yeah, that's hard.
That's tough.
It's hard. It's hard because he was cool, man. He was so generous with his time. He's like, yo, when we're gonna we're gonna fucking fuck it with Marshall all the fucking time on the air. It's gonna be fucking funny, Matt. He's like, well, I'm gonna talk shit, because I would give him like time to run his rant about shit that he liked or didn't like in hip hop. And he loved that. So he had been on the show like more than a few times, and he was hanging out with Sean and Fade and here, and he was moving here.
That's crazy.
He actually had a house here already.
That's crazy.
And and I remember this so vividly. Like, I never brought my camera. I'd always had my camera, but I never took pictures anytime he was around. Mm-hmm. And then that night, I was like, yo, let's take a picture.
Damn.
So we took a picture. Crazy. And yeah, he was like, Matt, he's like, I promise you, I'm going to the D. I'm going to handle some business. Coming back, I'll be here on Friday.
That's crazy.
And then he never came back. And I was like, wow. Crazy. That was wild. It's hard. It's hard now. It's still hard. Yeah. It's still hard because I think that, you know, the credibility that... Just the fun we would have had, because he was just fun. He would talk so much shit about MCs. It would be funny. And like, you know, some of the biggest shows that we did, he was around on the air. He was around for, and it was good to have that interaction with him. And like Proof was that motherfucker. Like, I remember I was leaving the Dilated show, and remember that the Dilated kind of Eminem kind of rift, the Everlast kind of in there, right?
Yep.
So Proof is at the show, and raps about this. Evidence raps about this, and how is it not Cats and Dogs? What album was that? He rapped about it in one of the nights that was on tour. Okay. Proof came up on stage and dapped him up, and just kind of was like, dead that shit. It was cool.
Okay.
And I was on the side of the stage for that. I remember that. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go give him daps. So he walked on stage, gave him a dap. It was all good.
That's dope.
And I remember walking out of that show, and like, I was walking to my car, and then these kids came through through the cars, and they came up to me and started talking, and I heard Mattlocks, and I turned around, and he's like, "The motherfuckers fucking with you?" I was like, "Nah, they're cool, man. Like, they're just asking me some, all right, motherfucker, like, let me know." Like, and that was just proof. Like, he was we'll ride. He was ready to ride. Like, and he's just an outstanding dude, man. He was always just full of life, and that was hard. That's crazy. Cause you never expect to like be cool with somebody you could read about on the source,
right?
Right. Or somebody you could read in rap pages about, right?
Right.
Yeah. Somebody so close to one of the biggest MCs
artists, right?
in the world,
and was really known. He was the guy in D12.
Yeah.
That was known outside of of him. It was
sure.
M, and it was always M and Proof together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's crazy.
And it was hard for me, but I think about it, for Sean, Lil Sean and Squeak and Fade and those guys, they had like super deep relationships. Poker Face, they had super deep relationships with them, That's hard, Poke. That, that morning, I remember the Nuts were in the morning, and I just remember them, they called all of us to talk about it on the air, and like that was the worst time ever. Like I can still hear Poke's voice cracking, talking about Proof, and that's so hard because you just never think about like
Well, and then have to talk about it to the public, right?
Publicly,
literally the next day. So
it's
been years.
2 days.
You to this day.
2 days after, like Monday morning, we're talking about it because the news broke out. Yeah, it's so wild. I put that picture on my Instagram a while ago, and that is one of the few pictures that means a lot. And It was a moment of time. It was me, Poke, Mad Rich, Proof. I want to say there's somebody else in the picture too, but if I would have never taken that picture, I would just have the memories, which would have been fine. But just out of nowhere, we just never thought. That's why pictures are important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, pictures are important. They're a moment in time to celebrate because you just never know. Yeah, you never know. So. But yeah, I've been blessed to have some good times, man. It's been a good ride for sure.
So you had mentioned being able to just call anybody when you want to come help you out at the school. So let's talk about you being an instructor. How'd you get into that, and how's that going for you?
I would like to start off by saying thank you to iRock.
Shout out to iRock for sure,
and shout out to Carly Hustle.
Shout out to Carly Hustle.
Without them, I wouldn't be a teacher. More importantly, Carly, because she was the one who got me the job.
Okay.
She called me and said, "Hey, I want to meet with you." All right, cool. We'll meet. At this point in time, she got the job as assistant program director or program director for Hot 97 in New York. She was leaving Phoenix.
Right.
She was teaching the class.
What class is it?
It is music business at Phoenix College.
Okay.
So she's like, "Yeah, let's meet." So I met with her, and then she was like, "Here's a book. Here's a syllabus. What is this?" She's like, "You're going to teach the music business class." The fuck?
Right. What do you mean?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah. She's like, "Yeah, well, just read the book. I'm here for 2 more weeks. Read the book, read the syllabus stuff. You're gonna teach the music business class at PC." Why?
That's what. Yeah, right.
You're gonna be good. You're already a teacher. You've been teaching these kids, aka the interns, already. You're gonna be great at this. I remember that she sat across me, said, "You're gonna be great at this." She's like, "You have any questions? Call me. Read the book."
Okay.
class starts in 2 weeks.
Okay. So now what's going through your head?
Well,
did you want to say no initially?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I was saying no the whole time. I was saying I just didn't know.
Because you're afraid of
what am I doing teaching in the classroom?
Being
a teacher.
Well, were you interested when she said I want you? Were you actually interested in actually being a teacher when?
I know that had never even been a thought.
Okay.
It never crossed my mind that I could teach music business.
Okay.
At that point in time, I knew some about the industry.
Right.
But I wasn't really well versed in. And it is funny, like, I called my mom and I said, I told my mom, I was like, hey, my friend is leaving. She wants me to teach this music business class. She's like, do you remember the book I bought you? And I was like, yeah. Things You Need to Know About the Music Business by Kashif. Kashif wrote a book about the music business. My mom bought that book like years ago and gave it to me.
Crazy.
And that's where I knew a little bit about the industry for. She's like, glad I bought you that book, right?
Damn.
I was like, yeah.
Everything for a reason.
Damn.
It's wild, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It's a little wild. So, she was like, I agree with her. Read the book.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. I read the book and then she was a resource for me, and IROC, because IROC taught the class before her.
Right.
Was a resource for me. There was shit that I just couldn't figure out how to articulate to the class or in my mind work out in what I was reading. I could call them. And I give her a lot of props, Carly, because she didn't allow me to say no.
Okay.
It was never a hey, would you like to do this? It was just like here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the things.
Right.
Here's everything that I've been teaching so far. By the way, you're gonna go meet Carl. Carl is a music chair. He knows about you already. He just needs to talk to you. Okay, so I met Carl Schindler, and he's a music chair for PC, and he's a great guy, and we hit it off. And he's like, "Well, you got the job. You're good. Remember, class starts in 2 weeks."
Oh shit!
Exactly what I said. Oh shit!
All right.
And it's been 10 years now.
That's
10 years.
Yeah, off and on. Yeah, I missed
dope.
a little bit of 2017 to 2019, but it's almost close to 10 years now.
That's fire.
Yeah, and without Carly, just just the wherewithal to just be like here.
Yeah.
Like she just
not having a conversation.
She just she knew.
Book,
she knew without it. It probably was a little bit longer than that. Maybe it was like about a month, but it wasn't very long from what I remember. It wasn't very long, and because she didn't have very long to leave Arizona to go to Hot 97, she had to dip too. So, but yeah, it wasn't very long. But just the wherewithal to go, no, you're it.
Yeah.
You're it. You're going to be good at this.
That's dope.
Yeah, you're going to be great at this. I just remember her saying that over and over. Matt, you're going to be great at this. You're going to be great at this. And I give her and even IROC, they both threw around names, and for them to even think about that I would be good at it, that's something that I had never really done before. Right. Like, I don't know, but I'm still here and I'm still teaching it and I love it.
Fire.
Nice. And that's how I got the job. There's a lot, I know.
Yeah.
I have a lot. I know.
No, you're good. I love it. So let's talk about what you got going on now. What you're involved in now, and what you have planned out for the future.
You kind of washed backpacker hip hop life. I don't know.
Okay.
That's about it.
All right.
No, I just.
You got a soul.
Yeah, I'm still. Well, yeah. Well, I wish Soul Shades. I don't know about.
Okay. That's what I was like,
Soul Shades was a labor of love. Me and DJ Element, both of us being the hip hop kids, diehard hip hop kids that we are just as passionate about R&B and like I talked about earlier about the musical depth of kind of what I like. It's a pretty deep well. So Soul Shades just came out of, we started that in June of 2010. And we were like, we know dope DJs. And if you ask almost all DJs, like, what do you listen to when you're not playing the shit that you have to play at clubs? Listen to R&B. So we're like, all of our DJ homies listen to the same shit that we listen to, and we're always digging for new shit anyway. And then SoundCloud was like, the 2010 early SoundCloud era. Fuck, man. Talk about digital surfing. Talk about surfing for records.
That's a fact.
The early version, the early SoundCloud days before they got bought out by Universal. Fucking just the producers and the music and just the creativity from production wise, and the cats that came from that, like, fucking awesome.
A lot of great producers.
So we just started banging on our DJ friends, like, yo, like, submit a mix, leave us spaces to talk. We produce it like a radio show, and we put up the mix, and monthly we'll showcase new mixes. And we did it on SoundCloud for 5-ish years. And it's funny, an incredible other entity, Selection, they started about the same time in 2010. And that's when I knew that, we're, when you find like kindred spirits and like ideas and like stuff like that. But I knew Selection at that point in time was going to be massive, because they weren't just a radio show. They were going to be a record label and like all things to a company. They were going to be a company, and I was like, oh, we're just going to be a show. We're going to showcase our DJ friends. We have DJs from all over the country that want to showcase their outside of the normal shit that they play at the club. But I knew Selection was going to be massive. Like, there was no stopping that train. But it was cool just to have that same type of kindred idea at the same time, And then record label stepped into the SoundCloud space, and copyright violations got thrown around, and that 6 years worth of work got 3 striked in like a week and a half, and all that was gone. And it's hard in the digital space right now for DJs, because you can't really share your creativity like that, so it's just hard. Yeah,
for sure.
So that was Soul Shades. And right now just doing stuff with Record Bar Radio. I'm super thankful to Sinbad and Pete Salas, my OGs at Solstice. Like, they've given me a space, and they've given me open arms and family into like coming and playing on the rooftop, which is like, that's just like massive, man. It's that that night has been going for 16 years now. And they've had anybody who's anybody in the house world play on that rooftop.
That's dope.
And for Pete and for Sinbad to go, you can play on the rooftop too.
That's fire.
Like, that's amazing. Like, I'm forever indebted for them to giving me the opportunity to they threw me in the fire by letting me open for King Britt. Okay, well, you want to do this house thing? You're open for King Britt.
Right.
I'm doing what?
Yeah.
You're opening for King. That, mind you, my first time ever DJing on the rooftop.
That's crazy.
I'm opening for King Britt. You fucking kidding me?
Hey.
But it was, but yeah, but yeah. I respond well to being cannonballing into the fire pit. And sometimes I think that is the best way to learn, actually, is trial by fire. And that letting me doing their live stream, of course, when COVID came and got shut down, did their live stream and stuff like that. But, I got to, close. I got to be closing spot for my birthday. Like, I can't thank them enough for, those are my OGs, man. They are super, I learn something from them all the time, especially about, the DJing and the house world and things like that. And for them to open up their arms and accept me like that, it's been super awesome. Yeah, super amazing. So sometimes you may catch me at Solstice.
Okay.
Other than that, changing professions and just kind of, laying low.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I know we just met.
Yeah.
But I have a request. I got you have 69, 68 crates of vinyl?
Yeah, something like that.
Is there any chance I come over one of these days once you get settled in your new place, man, and we can go through some vinyl, man? I tell you what.
My garbage to gold ratio
fire.
is pretty trash right now, but it's getting better.
Okay.
Yeah, because in radio we got serviced so many records, and we got a whole bunch of like trash.
Yeah.
And I gotta weed through that. But the gold, the gold I have, I know I have some good gold in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Once I get settled back and move in, we could do a exploring vinyl crate session for sure.
I think that'd be fire.
That'd be fun.
Really fire.
Yeah, that would be fun. But other than that, just kind of my radio days. Are those
necessarily
kind of.
Or
I would say I think for the most part it seems like it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, great. If it's not, great.
Right.
I just think the radio is so different now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I still love to listen to when I hear the Roosevelt tape, when I hear my friend Natasha Castles do her show on live on Sunday nights, it makes me feel nostalgic, like, because she has like one of the very, 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 very few specialty shows in the country on a radio station, on terrestrial radio, and she's playing dope shit.
Yeah.
And it's like the feeling, I understand the feeling that she gets, because when we were doing our show, we were like one of 5. We were one of 5 underground hip hop shows in the country on terrestrial radio. So, that feeling of like, I'm playing dope shit, not only that you never hear, but you can only get in this time slot, and like people are fucking with it.
Right.
And then too, like the relationships that come of that.
Right.
Of you playing people that, you respect musically. Like, I miss it a lot. I do miss that terrestrial. There's different lanes like this setting, right? And Twitch and stuff like that. But
for sure.
There's a different feeling and a different sense you get if you were to do this live on air. It is that you just can't. If you've never done it, then you won't understand it. But if you get a chance to do it, then you'll completely understand.
We talked about doing it.
Yeah,
doing some sort of show live.
Absolutely, like the live element on air, when you're speaking out into the masses, and people are in cars and people are at home and doing their things. You just never know who the fuck is listening.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah, so I if it's over, it's been great. It's been a large chapter of my life.
Yeah.
Sure. Basically since I was 19.
Yeah.
So it's 25, 26 years in the game, and that, and that period of time being in radio it was great. Like the kids now that are in radio, they're getting the corporate washed down. It's not even fun. It's a job for them. They go and do their thing.
It's just a job.
Like I said, when I worked at Power, I don't even call it work.
Right.
When I went to the building, it was Power 92.3 for 8 years straight. That even pretty much Saturdays and Sundays we were there. Like, that was not work.
That's tough.
That was like literally just fun. It was fun to be around. We had all the right people on the right seats of the bus. Like, it was fun to fucking go and put in 8 hours somewhere else than being at home.
Yeah.
And then going home and like doing work, like, a lot of people just don't know those Friday Night Flavor shows and the Rhyme and Reason shows. Like, literally my Friday nights would start my day. I'd be at work at 8:30.
Okay.
I'd do my day, get home at 7, eat, and then clean music from 8 o'clock until 9:45, and then be at the station. Or if our show was on at midnight, I'd be at the station at 11 o'clock. So I'd be cleaning music, literally cleaning songs at home until it was time to go to the station. And then, like, if our show was from midnight to 2 or midnight to 4, I wouldn't get home till 5:45, 6 in the morning. That was my Friday.
That was crazy.
Those are my Fridays for a long, long time. And I loved it. Every fucking second of it. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Mattlocks, we appreciate you for coming through.
Man, this is fun, man.
Yeah, man.
So many cool stories.
It's a lot of a lot, I know.
No.
So many good stories.
Yeah, I love the stories. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty more.
Yeah,
I just don't want these cameras to buzz out.
Oh yeah, no. And I know I'm missing a lot of people, and I'm sorry.
Well, we're gonna do a spin the block, probably summertime.
All right.
A spin the block tour.
All right.
Get a bunch of people back on. So we'll definitely have
I feel
you back
like you
on.
got so many cool stories,
and,
man.
It's been fun.
You know,
it's been a fun ride.
Yeah.
Let them know where they can find you. Social media
at Mattlocks, Mattlocks on everything.
Okay. And we'll have it all.
Yeah.
It's already down there. It's already down there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys stay safe. You guys stay positive out there.
And as always, this is The Gray Space.
Peace.